Welcome to the Church Answers podcast. My name is Jess Rayner, and I'm here, as always, with my dad, Thom Rayner. And we are going to be talking about church conflict today. We're going to be talking about why conflict in the church is often about something else. Dad, I have two older siblings.
Yes, you do. So why did you segue into your brothers when we're talking about conflict?
Yeah. Did we ever fight?
Yes. Yes.
What did we fight about?
I have no idea, but I can remember the scream all the way from the second floor to the top floor, and your older brother was writhing in agony on the floor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if we need to share all the details of that story. I know which story you're talking
Use
about.
your imagination.
But he pushed my buttons just one too many times.
Yeah, you pushed his buttons.
it was time for him to learn a lesson. So, yeah. So there was some conflict along the ways. It often though, it was really about nothing.
It was about nothing, and the thing about it is, I'll put in this for the listeners and viewers. Y'all didn't have a whole lot of conflict, especially for siblings. It was relatively peaceful. I've seen worse ones.
I could see that. I looking back at my childhood, there were fights, there were conflicts, but that wasn't a big marker of my childhood with that. And I'm grateful for that. But yeah, we did have our fights, but often it wasn't about what you think it is. And so we're going to be talking about how that exists in the life of church. Before we get on today's topic, we want to take a minute and thank one of our sponsors. And that sponsor is Cheney and Associates. They are an accounting firm for the church. They are only an accounting firm only for the church. That is all they work with are churches. And so if you are looking to have someone help you with your books, help you with finances and accounting, go to Cheney and Associates. Their website is CheneyAssociates.com/church answers, CheneyAssociates.com/church answers. They have decades of experience. They know church life. They know church language. And so they are ready to help you. Any church, any size, any budget. Check them out.
Let me tell you what I learned recently about Cheney.
All right.
Steve Cheney did a webinar with us not too long ago from this recording, and found out that the number of churches they're serving, we've been saying 1,100, is now 1,300.
1,300.
Yeah.
All right.
He said in a recent month they were adding churches every single day.
That means they're doing it right.
They are doing it right.
And so if you have not jumped in on the last 200 churches, it means it's time for you to jump in today. So go check out Cheney Associates. Go to their website. If you're looking at us, you're probably watching on YouTube. Click on the show notes. Click the links there. But CheneyAssociates.com/church answers. Well, church conflict. It happens. People are messy. Life's messy. Church gets messy at times. But church conflict isn't often about what you think it is. It's sometimes often about something else. And so we're going to talk about 5 different things as related to church conflict, where it's not always about the issue on the surface. And the first thing we're going to talk about when it comes to church conflict is surface issues are often just what you call, Dad, the presenting problem. Define that for us.
The presenting problem is what they say is wrong in the conflict. So I'm going up to Jess Rayner and I'm saying, I think the music's too loud. Okay. That's a presenting problem. There may be something beneath that where they're just complaining. Here's a very stark example.
But maybe not volume. They may actually think it's too loud, but I get what you're saying.
Okay. I'll give you an example. Church in Birmingham. Guy came up to me and I can't remember the issues that he had, but I remember it was one of those few times I didn't lose my temper, and I waited it out, and I found out within a week, he called me up, that he had an advanced cancer. And he was just on edge, and I was the nearest person there. So it afforded a pastoral opportunity, and he did survive, by the way. And if I had attacked his attack, if I had rebutted, I would have lost a great opportunity to minister to someone. So that's just one of the issues.
Yeah. I'm thinking I've had some conflict over the years as well as a pastor. I feel like sometimes for me, like, how can I identify if maybe there's a deeper issue? I feel like usually the conflict or the complaining is usually asked in a question of why.
Yeah.
Why
And
is this like
you're
that?
good. You're good about that. I wish I had had that wisdom when I was a pastor and tried to get the why behind it instead of just the issue itself.
Well, what I'm saying is, so when someone comes and they're angry about something or there's conflict, they typically frame it in like, "Why is this happening? Why are we doing this? Why is this like this?" It's usually in form of a why question.
Right.
Versus if someone is generally upset about something, they come with a little bit different manner. When they present the actual issue, it's usually presented in a way that is a little bit more concrete. But if you're trying to figure out, okay, is this just a surface level issue? Is there something behind that? I feel like that's usually a sign, not always, but usually there's indicators there's something behind it. They're coming in and asking, why is it like this? Why are we doing this? Why?
Good point.
That's more about just stirring the pot than it is actually trying to, they have an issue or a true complaint.
And related to this is the whole issue of personal frustrations. Everybody has problems.
Sure.
Everybody has issues. Everybody has bad days. Many people have a lot of bad days for different reasons. And those personal frustrations come to church. They don't disappear. They come to church. So when that church member, that other staff person, whatever the case may be, when they come into the church, those personal frustrations can spill over into church life, and almost anything at that point could set them off.
Yeah. Yeah. And we do this in other areas of life as well. I mean, think of it like this. Say you have a spouse that works, and you have one spouse that stays at home. Well, one
Yep.
spouse walks in the door and they just start getting angry at the spouse who's at home, and you're like, what's going on? Well, probably it's something that happened at work that they just carried over, and they're misplacing it. Um,
Oh, but I like what you do. I'm probably revealing too much, but I know that on occasion you will text ahead and say, "I've had a bad day."
Yeah. It's a marriage thing that my wife and I do. I will give a heads up if I'm feeling a frustration. But I also do it the other way. I also text to get a feel of the temperature that's happening in the house, so I know what I'm walking into.
Yeah,
um,
I get that. I get that.
there's it's both. I like to be prepared with that, but that does happen in church life. I mean, because the way we describe it at the church that I'm a part of, it's family. And sometimes people just are angry about something and it just spills over into different arenas, but it's okay. It's still like, all right, let's deal with this. But, when you're trying to lead a church, you're trying to figure out what is the ultimate source of this conflict? What's driving it? And so outside frustrations can carry out into different arenas. I think that's more what it is. It's kind of like arena based, and it can just
Yeah.
spill over into
But
other areas.
many times you think that the church is going to be that isolation from the problems, that oasis, whatever metaphor you want to use, but it's not. Problems still exist when you come to church.
Yeah, and I think sometimes people do feel the freedom to actually let them spill out
Yep.
because it is
Exactly.
church.
It is church.
It's a
Exactly.
it's a place where they feel more vulnerable. I mean, that's what God's word does. That's the power of worship. When
True.
you gather together as a church family, it's just if you're leading it and something comes up, it's trying to figure out, okay, maybe this isn't a church issue. Maybe this is something going on outside of life that is just spilling over. I'd say that's, I don't know if we could put a percentage on it, but I feel like there's a lot that happens a lot. You just kind of start drilling down a little bit more, like, oh, okay, this isn't what it seems to be. So
You know, the more, this is a little side trail for just a moment, but the more that we can get our people looking beyond themselves, outward focus, that's not to say that they don't have problems and they shouldn't express them. The more that we can get them looking beyond themselves and to helping others and to reaching others, the more we can deal with these, even though they won't always go away. And we have this sponsor who can really help us reach outwardly. They are Jess.
they're not me.
No, that I was going to let you say upward, but okay.
They are upward. Yeah, and that, yeah, you bring up a good point just about big vision. Big visions often, quell these conflicts, and having a big vision is often about reaching the community. And so we partner with Upward Sports. They know what it takes to reach the community, and they love doing it through sports. In particular, they have one particular sport. It's called Upward Running for Adults.
That is
And
one of the easiest things you can do with upward. Just one dedicated person can lead this.
yeah, and this what they do, and this is it's so cool. This is why we love partnering with them, this is why they're one of the sponsors for this podcast. That's why we're taking a moment to talk about them. Is they can actually help you offer a 5K challenge, and so this is an event based outreach.
Yes.
And they can come alongside of you, and you can create. You maybe not even have the facilities for it, but they can help you in your community create a 5K challenge. And so they have all the plans, all the technology. It's simple to start. Sometimes you can have a start line and a finish line in your church parking lot, and they get to run the race and come back and celebrate. And so if you're interested in having a bigger vision, if you're interested in reaching the community, go to upward.org/runcoach, upward.org/runcoach, and see if maybe you can offer a 5K challenge potentially, before the end of the year. If not, start making plans for the spring. And have them
middle fall in many states would be a great place.
Yeah,
maybe not in New England, but in many states it would be.
Yeah, just see. So go check them out. They will help you not have so much conflict, and so that's what we're talking about in this episode, is why conflict in church is often about something else. And so far, we looked at surface issues tend to just show themselves as presenting problems. It's not really the issue. Personal frustrations spill over into church life. And 3 here, historical grievances sometimes resurface in new conflicts.
All right, I got a story.
Always
got a story. But one of the reasons I have stories is because I do so many consultations and I coach so much, and because I'm old and I've been around quite a while. I've been doing this consultation since 1988.
Yeah. That's D, all the above. Yes.
Yes. And so this particular consultation, about 7-8 years ago, if I recall correctly, this particular consultation, talking with one of the leaders, and if I don't get his buy-in, the pastor's going to lose. The pastor's just on thin ice right now. And this is one of the, he's an elder in the church, and he said, you got to get his buy-in. You got to get his buy-in. And so I'm working with him on the presenting issue. And we're about 30 to 45 minutes in the conversation. I'm thinking, this is hopeless. And I just looked at him. I said, what's the problem? He said, well, we replaced the pews with chairs, and I just ain't gotten over it.
Oh, man.
I said, really? When did that happen? It was 12 years earlier.
Still holding on to it.
It was a historical grievance that no one had addressed in the church with this particular guy. I don't know why he was quiet. They actually had a congregational vote on going from pews to chairs, and it made great sense because of the spacing issues and other things. It wasn't just let's be cool. It made a lot of functional sense. But he never got over it. And he dug into the history books, and actually it ended up being a good story. I said, well, let's talk about it. Let's get that done.
Yeah.
When I told the pastor that, the pastor said, I wasn't even here when that happened. And he's still mad at me about it.
Wow. Yeah. That's, again, it just goes back to surface issues are often presenting problems. And so historical grievances can often be the underlying thing. And so, creating just an opportunity for someone to feel like they can communicate. I hope they know why they're angry. I hope they know why there's conflict, why they feel that. Sometimes you got to help them get there. It could be something from in the past that they don't realize is there.
I really think this elder surprised himself when he blurted that out. Oh, now he didn't say that, but I mean, he didn't say it surprised himself, but it was like this pause, like, oh yeah, I'm still dealing with that thing. Yeah.
And so, if you're leading a church and you're thinking, okay, there's a church conflict, finding a chance to figure out the why behind it. Something that I do, again, this is maybe a good practice or not. If someone's really upset about something, I'm trying to figure out exactly the reason is, I'll ask the question, why is this so important to you? Why are you mad about, this issue? Why is this important to you? And that allows them to get introspective, to help figure out why is this? You asked the question, what's the problem? In a way, that is why does this matter to you? Like, why is this so important?
This about me, but I tend to be a bit direct at times, probably too much so.
No, yeah. You sugarcoat things all the time. All the time.
Yeah, exactly.
So just asking that question, why is this important to you? And seeing what they say. And if there's a pause there, they're probably going, why is this important to me? Like, what is it? and that helps you typically get down to a root issue. So those, again, we're talking about, just where's the problem, these first three, where is it coming from? Sometimes this is a spiritual battle. Spiritual
In
battles
some ways,
often,
it's always a spiritual battle, but it's sometimes more of a spiritual battle than you
correct,
even realize.
correct. Spiritual battles often underlie interpersonal tensions.
Yep. And we can name a lot of things. Are you in the Word? Are you praying? Are you sharing your faith? Are you truly growing in Christ? Are you following the path that Christ would, and all the things and decisions you're supposed to make? And of course, no one's perfect in all of this, but many times you're going through some type of spiritual warfare. You have a spiritual battle, and you don't realize how much that is flowing into your relationships with others,
Mm-hmm.
including church members, church staff, and pastors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the classic tactic of the enemy is to make you think that the other person is the enemy.
Oh, that's a great quote.
And so anytime there's conflict, you're talking about between two people, I often have to remind people that, hey, they're not the enemy. Like there's a force that is at work between you two this happens a lot in marriages. Oh, husbands and wives see each other as an enemy all the time. It's like, hey, there's an enemy actually that's causing you to think that or leading you to think that.
That's good.
And so that spirit, there's always a spiritual battle. And so anytime you can help someone see that, like, why is this important to you? Okay, let's be reminded this person's not the enemy. Y'all actually have a common enemy. And then you start to get them seeing the other person in a different light and realizing, okay, we do need to resolve this because we're letting the enemy get a foothold.
And a common king and a common power and a common spirit. I mean, there's a lot of commonality there.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, those things you can process and why figuring out why church conflict is often about something else. Or our fifth and final thing we want to touch on is wise leaders dig deeper before they react to what they hear.
You do that really well, Jess. You really do. I do that really poorly.
Well, I learned it from Mom.
I'm sure you learned it from Mom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like you boys do, all good things you learn from your mom. So I totally get that. But you really do process, and
not always.
I didn't say always, but you do more than not, and you're just not jumping quickly at someone. And I've watched it. I mean, I get to see you up close now as a pastor, not just as a son, but as a pastor. And it's pretty neat to watch. It's pretty neat to watch these things. So, wise leaders dig deeper before reacting to what they hear. And that digging deeper could be, do I pray with them? Do I ask further questions? Why is this an issue to you? Your question. Mm-hmm. Do we pause for a moment and just ask God to give us some clarity about it? I don't know, but wise leaders are just not going to go off the handle right away.
Yeah. And I think sometimes it's what people are wanting from a leader. They're, if they come in hot and heavy, they're ready for someone to react and respond that way. And so if you can just take a moment and just be like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not getting in. And sometimes it's like, if someone is really upset and they just keep going in circles and just saying the same thing over and over again, just because they're trying, the whole goal is to get a reaction. Sometimes you just have to say, hey, we need to pick this conversation later. Like, let's take a moment and let's let emotions reside, and then we can re-engage the conversation. So it's having that little bit of like, is this the best time? Is this the best setting to have this conversation?
So you've heard me talk about Van, my church member at St. Petersburg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a question. Yeah. Got a lot of stories about Van. Van was very emotional. He would fly off the handle, but he had a tough background. When he came to Christ, he wasn't completely sanctified by any stretch of the imagination. And he just came into my office one time and just started chewing on me. I don't remember what the issue was. And he was just one thing after another. And then he just paused and started dying laughing. It diffused the whole thing. I said, Van, this is really weird. He said, I just can't be mad at you anymore because your zipper's all the way down.
Oh, gosh.
I am not suggesting that as a strategy for pastors.
No, absolutely not. No.
But there I am, the absent-minded guy. Even when I was a young guy, I was an old guy. Zipper was down. Hey, before we go, and you can give us any summation thoughts, I just want to give a reminder to our YouTubers. It's our new channel. It's growing. I want it to grow more. So give us a thumbs up or subscribe to us if you can.
Yeah.
And let us know you're there. And always on your podcasting app, give us a rating and review so others can find out about it. We're growing really fast, and it's a blessing. But I want to get the word out because this is a free podcast given to you by people like Upward and Cheney.
Yeah.
I think you're going to end this on Cheney.
Yeah. And before I do, just one other tidbit. Even if y'all have questions, if you have church questions, email us, put it on the notes, comment. We love it. We love when you guys send things in, and we actually make podcasts out of it. And so if you have a specific question, we'd love to answer it.
I would say this. Come to info@Church Answers.
There you go.
Say, I've got a question for the Church Answers podcast.
Great. Info@churchanswers.com.
Info@Church Answers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we do want to thank Cheney Associates one more time. We're super thankful for them. They have their own podcast. And so if you want to learn about, administrative and financial challenges, questions and answers for that particular arena of church life, go check out the Church Advisory Podcast. It's the Church Advisory Podcast. Really? Great podcasts where they can just help you just learn and grow. And again, if you have any accounting or bookkeeping needs, go to CheneyAssociates.com/church answers. They have all the tools. They really do. They know what to do to help your church out. And you'd be surprised what they can uncover. They can uncover so many different potential things you didn't even realize you had as far as, finances. They do a full analysis. They look at where you're at and they tell you where to go. And they do an amazing job. So go check out Cheney & Associates. We're super thankful for them. And we're thankful for you, as always, for listening to the Church Answers podcast. We'll see you in the next episode.